Vincenzo'S Go Crypto Investing this July the 14th, 2025, noontime daily cryptocurrency, gold, and silver bullion update that you've come to expect, love, need, and deserve. And it is Commodity Monday, so we will look at the commodities today. The gold bullion is even on the day. The U.S. dollar is up 0.25%. Oil is down 2%. Palladium and platinum are giving back about 70% of the gains they made on Friday. Palladium's down 4%. Platinum's down 3%. Silver bullion is currently down 0.5%. It was down 1% earlier, so it must have had, no, it was up earlier, so it's been falling today. And there's going to be a lot of activity going on in the next 2 to 3 weeks because the Trump tariffs that he says he's going to implement starting August 1st on a whole slew of countries between 20 and 50% tariffs. And I think this time he might actually put them on for a period to see and test what the equity markets are going to do when he does that, because I think he's being perceived as soft and all talk, and he doesn't like that, right? People are talking about it, and you don't like when people talk about him. Bell notification, comment down below, join the movement, become a member of Jabroni Killers, become a growing list of our beautiful, lovely followers and supporters. Also, too, on Twitter, if you want to join me on Twitter, at Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing, or at Gold Vincenzo for short. Come join me and follow me, and maybe we'll get our way to 1,000 followers and on the old Twitter, which is now X, but I still call it Twitter. Go over there, join me on Jabroni Killers. It's as easy and cheap to help spread the movement and word of $3.99 a month. There are various price levels. If we look at the Bitcoin price, which you all are here for, we know we are sitting here, and what's very interesting, and look at one of our tracks. And I know I should have bought more into the bullish tracks that I have, but look at this. It's followed this purple one. We're going to highlight this one and bring this to the forefront because it's really followed this one very, very closely. Look at that. It's almost been on top of it since we overlaid the track back in November of last year, where it topped out the first time. It had the rounding bottom beautifully. You can see that in purple. And it called out the second consolidation right here. Slightly lower level, but it called it out exactly the same. And then you can see the breakout actually broke out at the exact same time too. Notice right here, you have this breakout right there on the track, and you have this breakout here on the actual price. And now look what this shows. It shows a consolidation, and let's see if it follows this now, where you would have from peak to trough a 5.87% consolidation, which would be from peak to trough a 5.8% correction, about right there, and it would last about, how many days is that? Let's get the exact measurement. Go from there to about the breakout day. That's about 16 days. So are we going to see something exactly the same as this consolidation right here unfold here? And if that's the case, your actual target after this breakout would be all the way up here at our technical target, essentially at the upper resistance of this rising channel. And I had a Jabroni Killer ask me a question: is a rising channel a bearish pattern? Well, the rising channel in the short to medium term, when they're rising like it is, they're bullish, right? And this one, because crypto just does what it wants to do, this one's actually lasted 2 years. But usually, about 6.5 to 7 out of 10 times, they break down at the end of it, and then they break down and have a consolidation to the downside or a pretty significant fall. But you can see if it follows the blue track, it does actually show that. But the significant fall only brings it back to $75,000 on this track. Come on. But that's where our track ended. We didn't go out any longer into the future on this one. But that would be a big fall of like 60%. But that would be coming from $150,000. You can see that would be, 60% dead on the nail. So that's something that we're watching. If this does consolidate but doesn't break up, your first underneath support obviously is the 50-day and the daily time frame, and then the 100-day, which is parallel running along the lower support of the rising channel, right? Bitcoin dominance has been falling as altcoins have been rising. Ethereum has been rising, and you can see now Ethereum is in a rising channel of its own ever since the April bottom down there at about, 1383.26. We've had a swing high of 33.31.18. We've gotten initially rejected like you would think you would off of this bottom part of the green support and resistance box. And as you do know, we were telling you, if you were above for the last 3 to 5 weeks, all through this area right here, when you were above the moving averages, your target was $3,074. If you were below it, your target was $1,803. And you can see you actually hit it beautifully. And now you're consolidating if we go into the hour time frame. And what I would expect in Ethereum now, if it corrects and has a brief correction, you would play the moving averages now. It's sitting on the 50. Would it fall to the 100 and then potentially the 200 would be a healthy consolidation, and it could come all the way back down to the rising channel support, which would be right where the 50-day is in the daily. Then you hold that, then you come back and make another run up, and then you breach through there. And if you want to get bullish, that's a bullish consolidation. And as long as you stay in this rising channel, it's bullish, and you will eventually breach to 3,074. And if you do that, your next upper target would be 3483. And if this breaks out of a miniature bull flag, that you got the flag pole and the flag forming, a next major move would be all the way up at upper resistance at 4,045.99 cents, right? So that's something that we're watching. If we go into the XLM price, like we talked about the other day, where are our moving? Oh, I must accidentally change the color. Let's get into the daily time frame so we can get our moving averages back where they should be. We got they're all the way down there. That's why the moving averages are way below the price. But you can see we've had our golden bullish cross now. The price breached all the major upper resistance over the weekend with a massive spike in volume. But if we look at the massive spike in volume, if we go into the weekly time frame, please, thank you. We go over here to the 2021 pump. You can see we had at our peak 310 million in volume. Then if we go to the Donald Trump rally, we had 68.66 million, 92.94 million, 45.08 million, and 28.83 million. Look at this recent spike that we've had right here. 20 million, and now we're at 1.6 million right now. We actually had better volume, 44 million, 20, 30, 41, back on that last spike, right? So this is going to be very interesting, and the reason that I bring that out is on the retest is what we're going to get now. On a lot of these, we're going to retest major new support levels. And this one, your first major new support level is the top part of this green support and resistance box, which is at 36 cents. And the lower support of this is 32 cents. So in any kind of consolidation right now, if you come down here to 36 cents, that's a very bullish short-term consolidation. And if you hold that, you'll continue to the upside. And that's a very bullish consolidation. If you're asking, Vincenzo, what would be a short-term bearish look to the pattern in the next 6 to 14 days? Well, you would come down into this level of trade, but slip it, start using it as resistance, and then you would come down to the bottom part of the support and resistance box. This would be a more bearish sentiment right there. That's what a more bearish look would look like, right? But actually, let's use arrows. I like the arrows. Like that, where it fights and gets below it and then shoots down. That would be what it would look like bearish. Red would be, but we should have that green. Green would be what it would look like to the bullish action, right? So that's what old Vincenzo on that question, and that's a great question, and thank you. That's what your bullish and bearish consolidation, if it consolidates that far, which I believe a lot of these will consolidate because they've went up so much so fast. But the green would be your bullish consolidation. The red on short-term bearish, or yellow, would be if you got underneath that 40 or the 36 cents, the major green support and resistance box, right? XRP, a similar thing, but your new level now is you're attempting to reclaim the 302, but you got rejected exactly at the 302. But your new level that you want to hold is the 56 cents, right? That's your major new level that you want to hold, and the 50-day in the daily, which is all the way up here at $2.59. The 200-day is at $2.35 in the daily. But this is a bullish consolidation all the way back down to the 256 would be bullish. That would be a very bullish consolidation. A short term on the same question that I just got, on a bearish consolidation, would it be it gets below the 255? That would be your bearish consolidation in the short term. As currently, like we were looking at, you see this volume here, we're on top of the major stick in volume. So as long as you're on top of that, you're very bullish and there will be buyers there. But if you slip back below that 255, that's when you can get short to medium term bearish again. But if you hold on a consolidation, if it comes down to 256 and or just stay above it, your next upper target is $3.76, taking out the December high and January high of 340 and just below the 468, I believe, all-time high in the short term. But that's what's going to dictate your short-term bullish and bearish right there, and that's what we're going to look at in this update. The AMP, and we're just going to go across the board and get as many of these as we can because I got a very busy afternoon and evening, so I don't know to the extent of the time that I'll have this evening to give a very good update. You can see AMP, we've held support. I think this is our multi-year bull flag here, where you have your flagpole, right? Consolidation support. I think we're coming back up here, and eventually into the end of this year, into next year, like our track shows. You can see that in the background, where we eventually get between 2 and 5 cents, a target that I've been calling for since back here, right? That I thought eventually we would get to. But in the short term, what we're looking at to try to get a short-term rally of what the rest of the market has done is you need to continue to work your way through the 50, the bullish scenarios, then you work your way on the 100, get on top of the 200 in the daily, and then continue to work up. That's how you work bullish over the next week. And then you would have this W reversal pattern. You can see that just like, it's actually even bigger than that. Just like, we'll go with the shorter term one. But just like XLM and some of these other ones, you've had the W reversal like that. See that? And then it broke out after that. And that would be something on the bullish action, how you would look for this to be. As long as you're above this major support level at 0.00314 in purple, you're short-term bullish. If we scroll along the algo, a Jabroni killer member did make a great trade from over the weekend when he had a question and we were discussing about how it was a classic and you would expect it to get rejected like we talked about coming into it right here by the bottom part of the red support zone. But then you would want it to consolidate. Then on the next pump up, we had in yellow, which it did make the next leg up the next day, overnight Saturday night and Sunday morning yesterday. And then we put in red here yesterday. Now that it breached above the 24 cents, this is what you want to see to stay bullish, which we need to make that green for bullish. That is a bullish green. I don't know why it does that. That's a bullish consolidation right there. The bearish would be it comes back down to retest it and just can't do it, fights it, but uses it as a rejection and then gets below it. That would be your bearishness over the next week in algo. Your next upper resistance is the 36 cents in algo, which is the top part of the support and resistance box. We know where you can see what it did. It did it beautifully. We need to make that in green. Your bullish was staying above the 0.0149 purple box. It did. Your next upper resistance is the 0.02273, the bottom part of this light pink or purple resistance box. Getting bearish would be getting rejected by this or where you're at, coming back down, not being able to hold that, using it as resistance, and then trading south like that. That would be how you get short-term bearish in here. Like the channel. I got to let you go so I can get this to you and upload it. Peace and love. The Rex Eyebrow. J.